Ohayo gozaimasu. Hello everyone. Akimashite omedetou gozaimasu. Happy New Year. First stream of the new year. New Kobo. There is still no command for uptime, Flyfish. Comment. We'll get it sorted one of these days. You know what time. You've been here every day. You know what time we start. Aki omedetou yo. Hello, hello, hello. How are we all doing? I hope everyone had a lovely holiday season, New Year, whatever you celebrate in your country. Christmas, New Year, Hanukkah. I hope it was good for you all. I had a nice little break. We were off from the 31st. So the day I streamed last, I think, must have been the 30th. And then that was a Tuesday, was it? And then the 31st was off. And on the 31st, we went to Yamanashi. We stayed a couple nights in Yamanashi. We'll get it sorted one day. Today, what's on the plan? I want to finish up this block. I saved one of the carvings. I did a little bit yesterday. And got the Maranomi done on all of them, and I cleared some blocks. I can show you actually. Let's just flick over and I'll show you the progress. I hope. Oh, this is the image we're working on. We'll be printing it quite shortly. Although I do need to wait for paper. More updates on that a little bit later. Let's get rid of this for now. So this is the last block we have to carve. I don't know if it'll take a whole stream. It's, you know, kind of small. We have 4 blocks in total, 6 colors and 1 key. So we have the key block. I should zoom out a little bit. Key block. Then we have a sky block. That one I've already done the U-gouging on. It just needs a wide chisel to be taken to it. We've got one of the colours here. Again, most of the U-gouging done. I still got to do the small U-gouging. And then these ones I've cleared. The wood is kind of thin, so we've gone through onto the ply on these. It needs a little bit of cleaning up. I did it a little bit late last night. And this one. Might need to take it a little bit deeper around here. I don't really like going through, but I think for the ease of printing, I will take it through to the ply. You know, I've just skimmed along the top, but I don't know, maybe it's okay. This area here needs to go a little bit deeper. Just realised you have naturally curly hair. Yeah, a little bit. Only when it's a little bit longer and only after wetting it. If I wet my hair, it sort of dries curly. And then we have some of the cloud stuff. And this is doing a little bit detailing, just creating a little bit of separation from Nausicaa and the sky. And some light cloud colours. This is going to be a really light colour, so I'm not sure how much this is going to make. It's just a little something. For some reason that reminds me of a horseshoe. Ah, the warrior. Yeah, I see what you mean actually. A horseshoe crab. A little bit. Yeah, I get it. So we're going to carve this, and that's it. What we're going to do today. Usually we carve with the registration marks pointing towards me. Looks like some nice crunch ahead. Yeah, so if we finish the carving on this bit, we'll move over and we'll do a bit of ice ski. I do have a little bit of pain in my hand, you know, it's weird. I guess after the construction, just here, I guess it's from using my hand like a clamp, because I don't have any clamps or anything. When I was sawing all the wood, and there was a lot of wood to saw, I cramped it all really hard with my thumb, and it was okay yesterday, but this morning, I don't know, I guess I stretched it out a little bit like this, and it's hurting again. So I definitely got a little bit of a strain. I know I sound like an absolute, you know, whatever. Let's not put adjectives, but I sound a little bit soft. I take care of my hands, you know. Like I used to do a lot of bouldering. I was obsessed, actually. Not just a little bit. I was really obsessed with bouldering, climbing. And I was still doing it when I came to Japan, but when I started carving, and Asuka Sensei found out one day, he said, stop that, because it's going to ruin your hand. The famous thing he always says is, when I was doing my udon, he used to deliver udon in his meantime while he was doing his apprenticeship in the early years. And he always used to carry the udon bag in his left hand to save his right hand. I need a little bit of oil. The new studio is working great. I'm so happy with it. Basal joint arthritis. I really hope it's not basal joint arthritis. I feel bad for you. My hands are like everything. If I lost my hands, I really don't know what I'd do. Like, it's my whole personality is like being able to do things with my hands. Right up to the edge on these blocks. Yeah. We'll be cutting through this line. It's not quite touching. It's a little bit difficult to see with the lighting. Oh God, that makes it look even closer. It's pretty close to the lines. This one, maybe the registration is a little bit bigger. Some of the other blocks, maybe just like a hair more. Hook hand with a knife. Perhand aliti. Is that French? Perhand alti? I'm not so sure. My French is awful. Okay, let's get some carving. Jesus, I'm rambling. Talking too much. You're falling to pieces. I am. I'm getting old, you know. I know I shouldn't say it. I'm only 33, but I feel it. It's a pun, ignore me. Okay, sorry. It's still, what is it, 9:30 here in the morning. Maybe I'm not awake enough. Usually I don't put oil over the whole area that I'm going to carve, but this is such a small area that I'm not worried about peeling or anything. Let's get to it. Actually, I don't like the buttons. We on camera, in focus. Knife is okay, looks fine, fine-ish. Oh, so many distractions. Maybe we won't finish this one today. I just want to get the sample piece, just so I have a reference, because I kind of drew these on a little bit quickly. So I'm adjusting them a little bit as we go forward. The lines are basically in the right place, but I might want to adjust the flicks and tapers on the lines. Make sure we get them corners. We didn't start the music either. Might want to visit a specialist. I think it's just from overwork. Although I do need to be careful with my hands. Like, I know my body. I've had this sort of pain before. So I'm not really concerned that it's something that's going to be ongoing. Simply, I just need to rest my hand a little bit. The problem is I don't really know, like, New Year's was the time to rest my hand, but stuff like it snowed here, and the front of our house where I'm sitting now, this room is on sort of attached to the facade. There's a window in front of me, and it faces almost exactly north, and basically the front of our house is always in shadow. So it snowed briefly but quite heavily, and the ice is still there. It's been, what, 4 days now? The ice is still there because just in front of the house it gets no sun. Across the road it gets it, but why were we talking about that? So this room is always really cold in the morning because it's north. It is best for the light though, north facing window, because you don't get any harsh light. We don't get much light here on the north side, but you get some nice diffuse light, which is good for working. You second what Flyfish was saying. Okay, I'll look into it. Yeah, no, I should look into it. I should look at, because it's been a little while now. It was okay, and then I just. That's why we were talking about the front of the house. So thank you for reminding me. Yeah, so I was shoveling snow. That was the whole point to that little tangent there. I was shoveling snow recently, and I've been carrying my son all New Year's holiday and stuff, and so I haven't really had a chance to rest it so much. Head like a sieve this morning. Just learned to carve with the other hand. Yeah. I've got 5 years to put aside to do that. Although when I was younger, I did have my hand in a cast for a very long time. I think I've shown you my scar here, right? You can't really see it in this light. Right. I got a bunch of stitches down here. I cut my nerve in my hand. So I did a lot of physio just to regain feeling. I can't. I still have a little bit of numbness in those first 3 fingers. They're like, how do you describe it? It's just before you get pins and needles. There's like a little bit of a fuzzy feeling there. That's sort of what those fingers are always. It's not complete desensitization, but it never fully recovered, so it's always a little bit out. Have I talked to you about that nerve damage before? I know I talked to you about a couple of my other near-death experiences, but that is probably the most serious near-death experience. We don't need to get into the whole story today. I did. Okay, thank you. My hands are slippy. I put hand cream on before starting to stream, but it's actually not good for holding the knife. So yeah, we went to Yamanashi. We rented sort of a wood log cabin thing there. We did the 31st arriving there, like 4 o'clock. And we stayed there until night the 1st, night the 2nd. Came back on the Friday. No, night of the 31st. Night of the 1st. Came back on the 2nd. It was nice. It was me, my wife, her parents, and her sister and her partner, and she's got 2 kids. So we had a nice little sort of family retreat for the New Year's. We went to quite a nice shrine there. It was good fun. Nice to get away, but obviously with 3 kids, it was relaxing. It was relaxing, but it was also a lot. But they were good. I did get to do a little bit of drawing while I was out there. I did stickers for my Patreon supporters, and I done 1.5. Like, I had the design ready, but I just needed to. I had the sketch ready, and I needed to finalize it for one of them. But then also, because it's late, I wanted to do a bonus. So I had this idea. I think I talked to you about it before, about creating a sticker that if people tie a Baron 30 times over 2026, they can get a sticker for free. They just need to send me a picture. I'm still working on all the material around it, but I will show you a little bit later the bonus sticker I made for this one. Have a carving problem. I have a design almost ready, and I could paste it down and start carving tomorrow on Shina. Or I could take my time to make 5 double-faced cherry blocks that are about A4 size. What to do? Depends on the image and how many copies. Is there a lot of detail? Do you intend on printing a lot? If it's pretty large blocky work, like clouds and stuff like that, where you don't need much detail, it's all like large fluffy shapes, then maybe just do it on Shina. The hand doctor referred me to Hand PT. I'm so fortunate to have them available. She also works on my hands. Right, I will do some research into that. I promise you. I won't make a reservation maybe straight away. I've got lots of other stuff to do, but maybe tonight after dinner I will look in. What's good, Murai? Hello. Welcome in. Love these streams. Thank you. Thank you. We like having you here. It's good to be able to share this work with everyone. There is complicated detail, but no fine lines. I know if I choose Shina, I will curse later. Then that's your answer. That's your answer. Cherry. Cherry. Go Cherry. While we're on that topic, maybe I can just show you it now. Here's the sticker. I quite like it. Because it's on it. The reason I want to show it, it's a bonus sticker for my Patreons, but it will be available to the public later for free. I think it's on the other scene. Wait a second. There we go. Drum roll, please. It's related to Nausicaa, so this is the sticker I made. I think I ordered it in 5 centimeter diameter. Is anyone here a big fan of Nausicaa like me? Do you get this reference? No one gets it. Or maybe there's just a lag in the stream. Hang on a second then. I need to get the link up. Here we are. Open image, new tab. I can just share the link for this, right? Copy. I'll just paste the link in here. Copy image. I can't copy image. Copy website. Paste. Why won't it paste? Paste link. There's the link. The scene at the end of the movie. Yes. That's it. And someone got it. Okay, I'm happy. I'm happy one person got it at least. I'm kind of chuffed that I did a good job. Spoilers. Not that big a spoiler. I put up with carpal tunnel in both hands for years because of the fear of surgery. Totally awesome when I did finally get them fixed. Don't wait. It's not carpal. I don't think it's that serious. It's just a little bit of strain, and I haven't really let my hand rest as much as I should. I will look into getting some assistance. Here, let's get back to carving. Don't wait. Yeah, I know. I feel like a boy getting told off. Go to the doctor. I know I should, I know. A little bit more. I noticed that over the New Year there was a bunch of questions put in the Discord, and I started answering them. I tried to answer a couple of them when I was away in Yamanashi, but I never got a chance to finish doing them all. But I'll be getting on them. Maybe we can answer one of them at the end of the stream. We can do a little question time. Good morning, Rika. My fishing bud in Florida finally did the carpal tunnel thing, and he can't believe he waited. Even my surgeon says avoid surgery. I hope you find a way around your own hand pain, and I will do some research and try and do the same. What else is on the... I've lost my little post-it. I did write some notes. Happy New Year, Canton. Welcome. Happy New Year to you too. We're really missing a lamp. I used to have twin lamps on the top of a frame I made to hang the flask. But now I've repositioned my table. I've managed to find a stud which is like almost perfect position for the lamp, so I can hang the lamp from the ceiling again. And so I took those lamps off because it was really cluttering up the space. You couldn't move around very easy. And they were broken anyway. And so I'm lacking an extra light source, like a direct light that I can move around. And I sort of fell in love. I was looking on Mercari, which is a second-hand sort of, what would you call it? It's kind of like an eBay of Japan. People selling stuff, and there's also companies as well who are like doing antiques and stuff. So I was looking for some antique lamps, and I came across this French lamp from like the 50s or something, and I fell in love. And then I saw the price tag. They're insanely expensive, but it's the perfect lamp for, you know, I'm doing this whole, there's an aesthetic that I'm kind of obsessed with, like the way aesthetics, and I've gone for Ginko. Like, I enjoy the sort of early Showa sort of aesthetic, 1950s, somewhere around there, Japan, sort of that雰囲気. And this lamp is like, it's so good, but it's ridiculously expensive. I found one on Mercari, and the antique ones are the same price as a brand new one almost, because they're so coveted. I think Taryn had a bit much badgering regards to the hand. We should back off. No, it's good. I need it. I need someone to tell me, because I won't go on my own, actually. I'll just suffer and moan in silence. So good. The lamp with the brake rotor stand. Yeah. I don't know why lots of the antique ones, they have I think it's like a disc brake as a base. Just a heavy hunk of metal, I guess. But a lot of the older ones, I think, traditionally, they don't have that anymore. They have like custom bases now, but I guess it was sort of a workersman lamp in the past. It's like a heritage lamp. And I guess in the past they used to upcycle. Is that the right word? Old disc brakes, because it's a nice heavy hunk of metal. Anyway, I found one on Mercari, and I've been pestering the person there with requests for discount, just like putting in offers that are like quite significantly lower than the asking price. It can't be that old if it's a disc brake. I'm not very good on cars. It's maybe, what do you call it? It's the part that the wheel attaches to the axle there. I don't know what that part in the middle is, where the screws go into. The wheel drum as a stand by drum, do you mean the hub? No, not the hub, not the hub. The hub is the thing that the tyre sits on, right? Or is that the rim? That's the rim. This is not this is not the stream for car talk. The thing that attaches to the thingy, that's it. That's the one. Bearing, I don't know. Let me just send you a picture. I'll get a picture. Here we go. Right. This is not the exact lamp I'm looking at. I'm looking at one with only 2 arms. But this is the lamp, and you can see that this one has the wheel thing as a base. If you've just tuned in, we're talking cars. Yeah. We're attempting to talk cars anyway. Mega articulated, yeah. It would be perfect. It's the lamp I want. It'd be really good for filming, and well, I don't need to justify it. A disc brake, it does look like disc brakes, but I don't think it is. Because only the older ones, the ones from like... What I heard from Molly is the hand's gonna fall off now. It's not gonna fall off. It might just like seize up. That's a disc brake rotor. Sheesh. Okay. God, guys, how doesn't anyone know that it's just a standard disc brake rotor? It's got 3 phalanges. That's a disc brake. Okay. Anyway, they're really, really cool. You can fold them up. And I'm thinking about setting a PO box just on the off chance that there's one person in the world that has an old one of these in their shed and wants to give it to some carver to beautify his streams. What model and year? Yeah. Recycled from an auto shop. Very cool looking. Yeah, I'm really... It's an unjustifiable amount of money for a lamp. Giving yourself a chocolate. We don't... Yeah, you did point it out first, and you were right with your first suggestion. But we don't do chocolate eggs here. We do gold stars. So take a gold star, put it in your sticker book. If you're not happy with the gold star, I don't know what to tell you. Gold stars is what we give out. Take a sticker. Sit down. Have a sip of milk. Okay, here's the thing. The gold chocolate eggs, gifts that are perishable and consumable. How do we feel about consumable gifts? Obviously, if someone gives me a gift, whatever gift it is, I'm very happy. Thank you so much. But I have a thing about consumable. I'm perfectly fine with a gold star. Good, because that's all we're giving out here. Like holidays and stuff, that's different. That's cool. Trips and experiences, they're fine as a gift. And I suppose as you get older, like you don't want clutter, you don't want things. So consumable gifts are great, fine. But getting like chocolate and something for birthdays, the way I eat chocolate is just like gone in seconds. Like you just buy me some cheap chocolate and then get me something that I can like hold and like think about and go, oh, that's great. All gifts are consumable if you throw them away eventually. Well, I'd much rather everyone just like chip in and just get like, I have a bunch of stuff that are like too expensive for me to justify buying for myself. I'd much rather like this nice object that I've been wanting and pondering about getting for like a year. With a piece of gold, buy all the chocolate you want. Not to be ungrateful, I like any gesture is like really much appreciated. But I tell my wife, like, don't get me consumable gifts because it's just gone too quickly. I'm too much of a dustbin. Chocolate eggs has a significant meaning for these situations. Gold star, blah. Yeah, unfortunately, we don't. Should I make up a story? Well, I remember I was 6, and this was really impactful to me. My my teacher, I was having a really rough day, and my teacher had told me, you know, you just got to keep going, keep going. And I was acting up a little bit, and then at the end of the day, a teacher gave me a gold star because I tried to like I was having a rough day, and I tried to control my emotions and stuff. But I wasn't successful all day. And then at the end of the day, the teacher said, do you know what? I noticed and I saw you today. And I felt really, really seen. And they gave me this gold star, and I've kept it ever since. And that's the significance of the gold stars. It's one of those core memories that sort of sticks with you and sort of infuses and becomes a part of your soul and who you are. That's why we give out gold stars on ginkohanga.com/Twitch. What was the teacher's name? Mrs. Mithrir. I don't know. Choose your own random Welsh name. Myfanwy. Did you get your wife a rice cooker? Yeah, she loves it. It's her favourite thing ever. It's the Rolls Royce of rice cookers. Yeah, she got it. She doesn't see it as buying buying your wife a vacuum cleaner. That's my take on it. That's not hers. She's very happy with her rice cooker. She got me a gift as well, finally. She bought me a nice shirt. 6? What are you trying to... Flyfish is always throwing out these exclamation marks trying to do commands. I'm not sure what 6 is supposed to be a command for. I get that we need to do a time command, but... Asperger's Brothers has for years given us a hamper for Christmas. He picks what goes in, family loves seeing what things he might want. Okay, so yeah, consumable gifts, if it's for like that, it's a hamper for many, many people. And so I agree with that. That's a good case for consumable gifts. Because otherwise everyone gets like a small piece of tat, and no one wants little gacha pieces of tat. I've never done a gacha, And I don't think I will be. I don't need those little pieces. So if I buy something, I want something that like I thought about when I want. I found a lamp in the UK, but it doesn't have the disc brake. Only 900 quid. What a bargain. Okay, so you know how much. I wasn't looking anywhere near something like that. I hope I only got me a vacuum. She got me a shirt, a nice shirt. For one Christmas, I asked for an iron as a gift, and I was really happy. Yeah. No judgment. You like what you like, but I think we can do better, you know. I don't want an iron for Christmas. No judgment. If that's what you wanted, that's cool. It was always funny that my sister got me some. She was nice enough to send her a little package. Mostly, I think it was for our son. We got some little gifts as well. She sent us over, and I got some. I got some socks, and if you'd asked me at like, I don't know, 15, 16, what do I think of socks as a Christmas present? Just shoot me now if that's what we're getting to the point where people don't know who you are as a person enough that you just like, you know, all fathers get in the UK, everyone gets the box set of links. There's a shower gel, a shampoo, and a shaver. Just like the typical dad gift. Just we don't know who you are as a person. It's a box of soap. Anyway, I guess I've reached that age where those are the gifts that I'm receiving, but unironically, a new pair of socks is one of the best feelings ever. And she got me some really nice, like proper wool socks. I'm really chuffed with them. So, unironically, that is like an A-tier gift. You can never have enough socks. Links must have been created in the Bowser head. It's awful stuff. It was the meta when I was younger though. It's not good. But literally everyone wore links in my school. I got those. I got a full beard. What, you got a shaving set for Christmas? As you know, I've been doing a lot of prep towards doing some printing this year. There is so much more stuff that you need for printing. When I started carving, I started with one knife, one chisel, and a little yuga. Oh no, one knife, one chisel. That was it. Yeah. This was my first chisel, big wide one. This wasn't my first knife. My first knife was... Put it in some... Where did I put it? Ah, there it is. Oh, that's not it. This is actually my second. It's my second. But yeah, that's what I started with. But printing, particularly because it took me... You don't need to get everything all at once, but like it took me 5-6 years before I got all the tools that I wanted for printing, for carving. And I just don't want to do that again. It's not the most efficient way. I'm not starting from scratch. I'm trying to do like a professional looking job. So I just want to get everything done and do it properly. And I don't want the years of like building up to get the best stuff. I just want to get it all done, do it properly from day one. So I'm not struggling and like making do. So I'm doing things a little bit differently because I've done the years of like, oh, I'll just get this tool when I need it. Like it was only last year that I got my KBQ, which is a left-handed knife. And it took like 3 years to get the knife set that I've ordered. I still haven't shaved them all and shaped them to size, but I'm not doing that again. I just want to do it properly. One done. Get a professional kit, get everything you need right up front, and then start for real. And so I've been busy collecting all these stuffs. Yesterday I was doing some pigment prep. I haven't put them in the fridge yet, so I can show you some of the prep I was doing. I thought I could get away with just having one large mortar and pestle to grind my pigments. But the mortar and pestle, they got like a smooth ceramic surface, but on the end of the pestle and in the bottom of the mortar, you know, they're serrated a little bit. There's a little bit of texture there. And I started with the blue pigments, and the blue didn't really fully come out. So I'm a little bit nervous about using that mortar and pestle to do yellows and reds, because I don't want them to mix and take the colours, because these are like the raw pigments. So I have ordered, I sort of postponed doing it. I have these little bowls that I've been using for years. These they're actually from IKEA. And I got a bunch of them. And these are like nice little pigment bowls, but you can't grind in them. So I bought some mini mortar and pestles, exactly the same size. IKEA was great. I got lots of stuff there right at the beginning when I first moved to Japan, just because I needed a bunch of stuff cheap, and they had little bowls here that were just like the right size for pigment bowls. The only problem is they're a little shallow, so when you rest a tokibo or hakobi here, it sort of has a tendency to fall off. If the sides were like just a touch higher, it wouldn't fall out as easy. Perfect size for pigments though, yeah. So I've got them, and then I've also ordered one for each of the base pigments, and then I'll use them for additional colours. And they weren't that expensive, little mortar and pestles. Why is the music stopped? How long ago did that stop? Cut back the handle. I don't want to cut back the length of the handle. Handles are nice sizes. Ah, okay, okay. So yeah, lots of prep. I prepped the pigments similar to the way that Dave outlined in one of his little notes on woodblock.com. It's nice to have really nice fine pre-ground and sort of already wet pigments to hand, so you don't have to start from the start with your pigments grinding and then creating a suspension. I'll show you them now. Not so far, because we're nearly done with that. Let me just zoom out a bit. This is the work I did yesterday. We got 4 blues. This is BI. This is Prussian blue. This one is Honai. And this one is Shimbashi. There's also one other blue that I will be using that is used in the Mokankan palette currently, and but it's not used that often, so I don't need to pre-prepare it. One of these streams I'm going to be doing some sort of, once I've got all the pigments prepped, I'm going to be doing some color wheels, some sort of color theory type stuff. I'm making a little book to go along with the stuff I'm learning. While I do my printing, I'm going to take lots and lots of journal material. And the first page, I want to be sort of a color wheel, like listing out all the pigments on one page, and then their use cases and stuff like that. And then on the other side, a couple of different color wheels with how these different colors interact. That if you need like this type of color, it's best to use this type of blue and stuff like that, just as a nice handy reference. Yeah, so Honai is this one. This is Honai. This is natural indigo. And you can't really tell them all right now. And then if you need a slightly brighter, this is like the base blue. Honai is what you use for most stuff. And if you want a slightly brighter one, you use BI, which is beautiful blue. That's another traditional color. And then there are times where you need Prussian blue, and that's a really specific type of blue. Because these are primary colors, you need a lot of different variations on the types of blue you use. Main is this. If you need it brighter, you go for this. And then if you need a certain look, you go for this. On occasion, we'll also use Shimbashi. And the other one is also Gunjo. Gunjo comes in a bunch of different forms. They used it for the Adolescento prints this year. They called for Gunjo. It's ultramarine is the English name for it. But it's a kind of a nightmare. No one likes to use it because you have to keep mixing it. It doesn't stay in suspension very long. These are just little jam jars. They're from Daiso. And I'm going to keep these in the fridge so they don't get moldy or anything. What did you mix with the pigments in the tiny jars? 50-50 water and alcohol. just 99 proof, you know, ethanol. And yeah, I got some larger pigments on the top. So those are the 4 main pigments, and you can't tell the exact color of them. These are the colors Mokuhankan uses. I'm going to be making prints for Mokuhankan, so I want to use exactly the same colors to keep the same palette. One last little line on this, I think, just here. Then I think we're all good, and we can kill another half an hour somehow. Or we can get some ice ski done. So yeah, I think we'll be doing that on a stream soon-ish. We can do some colour theory. Get a tile, a little palette knife, and show some of the interactions. Any missed spots? Looking fine to me. Just pop some of these corners out. Corner, corner. That's it. All good. Ice ski, ice ski. Got my mouse over it. Those jam jars are the perfect size, yeah. And you can see the ones up here. Oh, you can't. I moved that camera up. You can see I've got slightly larger jars there. Before we get onto this, should we check the Discord? Let's just do this easy one. Let's just check the Discord because I knew we did have some questions. Where was it? Prints and things? And cardboard. This is for, is this the next one? Ah, okay, so the question was, I did answer this one, but I think it's a good point to go over. Let's make this a little segment. Question times. Someone was asking me in the Discord recently about carving on both sides. Like, people have heard a lot that you should carve with the flat against the line. And like you see with me, I'm actually using both sides of the blade. Ideally, we do want the cut area to be against the flat. Oh, we're not on camera. We want the flat of the knife to be against the line. This is ideal. But there are many cases where I'm doing both. I'm putting the bevel side against the line as well. The only thing you need to be careful with when doing that, and even when you're carving in the correct position, carving with the flat against the line, is just want to make sure that any pressure you're putting is going straight up and down. It's really easy, it's particularly on the Sheena. You've got to be really careful on this if you're carving on Sheena blocks. You don't want to be leaning any pressure. You can actually roll over the edge quite a bit by carving incorrectly. You're pulling this way, but there's also like the weight of your hand is pressing down and it's curving the top of that surface of the wood. It's the same thing with this. If you carve with proper technique with the beveled side against the line, it is really minimal stress on the wood. If you just carve roughly, then it's really easy to, it's more prone that the bevel edge will damage the edge of the wood. Obviously the wood is being pressed in that way, so just means that you have to be a little bit more careful. I need advice on carving inside line of a 1 centimeter circle. I can draw you one. Since we're doing question time now. Do I have a little... Okay, let me get the ruler. There's a bunch of these little lines here. Well, these are all smaller than a centimeter, but the principle will be the same. Who's asking this? Wilfred. You want to start... We're just going to be doing a half circle here. In fact, I can fill in the rest of the circle. Let's take this. It would help if we had a pen that worked. It's not a perfect circle, and it's not 1 centimeter, but it'll do. You want to start. In fact, let's take it out. It's a proper lesson here. This is the good thing about not having actually much carving work to do on the streams. You get little lesson bits. Carving a circle. If you're not rotating the block, if you're rotating the block, none of this means anything. I've started using both sides to help keep my RPM rate down. If you're turning the block, you don't need to worry about it at all. Just turn the block, do whatever's comfortable to you. If you're not turning the block, this is what you do. You start at the top here. Oh, you can't see. We want to start at this top one here and carve with the flat of the knife against the line. That's the best place to start. And it's kind of tricky to show you. You want to make sure that the key is to maintain that angle. You want a 70-degree angle of the knife going around. So you're just like a little moon orbiting the planet. The main tendency is people tend to start like on quite an angle. And as they go around, the knife tends to tilt up like this. And it'll get really steep towards this bit. And then they'll try and fix that on the easier stroke. This top stroke here is really tricky, and this one here is much easier. It's a much more comfortable position. So it tends to go good angle towards bad, too steep, and then it comes out the other side. That's a good angle. The key is to try and just imagine that in the center there is the planet, and your hand is just orbiting it. Everything's staying the same. If I zoom out a little bit before we carve, my body is right in against this table here. I'm pressing, I'm twisting my body, my legs are pointing that way, 45 degrees away, and I'm leaning over, I'm trying to get my body into a really good position. So I'm starting at that top there. Inside of the curve first. Keep it, choose your angle. You don't want to be too high on the knife either. You want to be carving with the blade of the knife as much as possible. The smaller circles, it becomes more tricky. You need to use more of the tip. But ideally, we don't want to be carving on a little ice skate right at the top. We want to be using a little bit more of the knife by leaning it forward. So not directly down like that, but the blade out in front of your arm. Start here, go around, and that elbow kicks out. When you reach the quarter, stop, reposition your body, get comfortable again, and then carry on. Elbow kicks out, body moves around with it, just past the center there, and stop. Then you come to the top, find the angle, come round, try and keep that angle the same. Come just past that quarter bit, stop, again squeeze your body in, come back down, and curve in. This last bit is usually where people flick up because your body, your wrist can't angle more than that. The way to do it is just to loosen your grip and twist your thumb just a little bit. Your body can't actually do that last little bit. So you just twist your thumb to get that last little curve at the bottom there. And then you touch it up from that side. And then you do the outside. It's the same, but it's reversed. You start from over here, you come down, down. Let's just do it. Stop, reposition, same angle into the wood, come down to the bottom. That side's easy. This side's more tricky. Come here, down, down, down. Find your center, stop, reposition. We slipped a bit, it's okay. Go back and just connect those a little bit cleaner. That's how you carve a circle. Maybe a little bit too in-depth, but we haven't done that before, so that's the best way to carve a circle. That way you're working with the wood. You're always starting with the bevel, with the flat side against the line, and then you're doing the less favourable one after. So you're setting the circle in the best way you can, the flat against the line. Then you're doing the other side. So outside, starting, and then your body's already in that position to flip the blade over and go to the other side of the circle. That was probably far too technical for most of you out there. Most of you, I guess, are not actually making your own prints. You're just kind of interested in prints. And to do it, the practice sheets, yeah. We can post them soon. Yeah, I hope that was helpful for everyone. So the important one, if I draw the circle bigger, if I use this, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, outside 1, 2, 3, 4. And then if you had a circle inside, you'd just keep going down doing the same pattern. Inside the circle first, outside the circle. Okay, I'm glad it wasn't like, oh god. Anyway, that's how it's done. It's much easier to explain it than it is to do it. Circles are tricky. You will, when doing this, you'll snap all your tips. If you're practicing these little circles for the first time, you will snap your tips so much. It's a good thing. It means you get to practice sharpening. Your sharpening will improve as you do this practice. Everything is connected, and they're all different lessons for you to learn different aspects of it. Carving is very narrow. There's not much. Printing is a much wider field. You need to know so many different things. There's so many different techniques. Carving is a very narrow field, but it's incredibly deep if you get stuck into it. There's a lot of nuance, and there's a lot of ways to improve what you're doing and make things even better. Things that when you first start that you don't even see or notice, as you go forward, you can really get so much better at doing these things. And being efficient and carving circles like this it's one of the most fundamental things if you want to carve beautiful lines. We're done with that. Let's move on. Lesson time is over. We have about 20 minutes. Let's do a little bit more. Let's do some clearing. We got a simple block here. We can clear this one. I'm going to get some oil. Ice. We've done a lot of talking today. Sorry. Did I have anything else on? Okay. I will be I'll be doing the dorsal for this. I'll be doing the prep soon, and I'll need to, because these blocks will probably be finished today. I got some other stuff I need to do, some more Mokankan related stuff. Oh, and that reminds me, I'll be getting a block from them. I'll be doing touch-up work or recarving a block for one of the old subscription prints soon. I think maybe the blocks will arrive today, so I'll be doing that. But either today or tomorrow, I'll get this block set finished, probably in the evening tonight. And then I'll be working on, it might be good to carve that recarved block on stream. It depends when the block comes. If it comes like Wednesday, I'll save it for Friday. But I guess it has to go back kind of quickly, so we'll see. No promises, but we might be carving, I think it's one of the KJ images. When you were an apprentice, how did you cope with all the technical talk in Japanese? Mostly watching and learning, filming stuff, and then, you know, going home and trying to figure out if there was any nuance that I didn't catch. But in all honesty, there's most of the stuff I'm sharing with you now, like the order and stuff like that, of course, that's just watching and copying. But like all the nuances and stuff I'm saying to you, this is mostly stuff that I've gathered myself. Like a lot of this stuff isn't typically explained to you. If you ask questions, he'll go into detail on this stuff, but so maybe like 50% is stuff that I picked up from Asuka Sensei, and then the rest is stuff that like my feelings and how I think about these things when I'm doing it, how I've managed to internalize it. Everyone has their own sort of points of references and their own analogies to stuff. And for the most part, this stuff is not really explained like that. This will be sort of a greeny beige. So yeah, I'll be going to Mokankan as soon as there's some names on the dorsal calendar. There's a calendar in the system for when people are requesting new work, when they need paper to be prepped for them. They put in the manager system, they put the name on the dorsal calendar for the sizing. And so when there's a few names on that, I will go over when Dave's doing his next sizing. I'll watch him do his size, and then I will cut my paper and do my own dosa right after. I also ordered my drying boards. I've been buying lots of stuff for this printing. It's expensive. Not just the brushes, but like all the periphery stuff. I bought some drying boards yesterday. I'll show you them when they come, but I paid a little bit too much for them, but I was really struggling to find the right ones. The tricky thing is that, well, they're basically a cardboard. They're made of recycled paper. They get all the scraps, and they just make these thick boards, like 4mm boards. But they're just called cardboard, so to search for them, I think another word for it is like sometimes they're called straw boards or box board or bookmaking boards. But in Japanese, they're just called danboru, which is just cardboard. So finding the right ones was really tricky. I found a bunch of them, like suppliers, but you have to buy in units of metric tons. And I just need like 10 boards of A1 size roughly. So I eventually found one that I think is going to be the right stuff. But I think I paid double what I should have. 5 boards I think should have been like maybe 3,000 yen to 3,000 yen. But I paid like 4 something. It is a specific type of product, yeah. You want a nice thick, like they're always the grey boards that people use. Did Matsaki-san? I didn't see his drying boards actually. I'm not sure. The printers I've seen, they've all used the same drying boards. Mokan-kan, Asuka-sensei, Tetsui-san, I think they all use the same grey boards. Numabe and Matsaki-san, I'm not so sure. I know that the Numabes, they use not the plastic sheet, they use like this thick, like a felt sheet to go on top. So I'm not sure if they're using something similar to like a felt one for their drying boards as well, or if they're using wood with like newspaper or something. There's a number of different ways to do it. Most people are using similar to MDF. Yeah, it is similar. That's what I thought it would be initially. Box board. That's another name for it. Yeah, cereal boxes. Yeah, but it's really really thick stuff. Exactly the same as cereal boxes actually, but just really thick. And obviously without the shiny coating. Yeah, there's a bunch of different names for it. Straw board, box board, just cardboard, recycled, paperboard. You might want to push the carving towards the sensor, sorry, off camera. I'll show you the boards and we can talk about them a little bit more when... Asuka-sensei has very strict ways on how you should keep and maintain these boards, because you don't want them warping, you don't want them to get dirty, you don't want them to get stuff on your prints. And I'll be treating my boards the same, especially because they were a lot more expensive than I think they probably should have been. You've been using old cereal boxes, pizza boxes. Yeah, it'll work. It's just they don't last as long, and also the thickness is what's really important for the drying boards, because, well, the thicker they are, the more absorbent they can be, the more water they can hold. Like, you can just do it if you've got a couple prints, you can just put them in a clear file with some newspaper and stick them under your bed. And then maybe like after a day, change the newspaper, or like after a half day, the first day. for like 6 or 12 hours, change the newspaper, leave it for another couple of days. Like if you're just doing a couple prints, that's fine, and you're not using them very often. You can use anything. But if you're going to be drawing lots of prints on a regular basis, then investing in, it's not that much of an investment, but getting some kind of like hardboard. This is the problem, is that there are so many products that are really, really similar to it. Finding the specific one that you're actually looking. Hardboard is another name for it, yeah. I think boxboard is, or strawboard as well. It comes up with the same. I've never heard of strawboard before, but I was searching and I found out that strawboard was strawboard, I think, is the stuff I'm looking for. Without feeling it though, I'm not 100%, but it looked like the cross section of it looked like the stuff I wanted. That doesn't help if you're searching in Japan, you know. Strawboard doesn't help. Danboard is what it's called. That's it. Gray no 4mm danboard. Taryn's fine print drying boards. Yeah, get a bunch of. If I could, I have overpaid for them, so you would be doubly overpaying if you were to buy them from me. No risk of transfer from newspapers to prints. That's an interesting question. No, basically no. Asaka Sensei swears that the older newspapers, before they changed the inks, are better for printing. He doesn't use new newspaper for the actual packs of moisturizing paper. He has a stack of old paper and new paper, and I can't remember the exact year, but it was like 1998 or somewhere around there. They changed the ink in the newspapers. Mokuan they don't care. The newspaper is fine. So it's maybe there was a transition point at some point, like 1998, let's say it's that date. Maybe the first couple years the ink was a little bit fugitive, and all the printers who were working at that time got a little bit funny, and they decided that all the old newspaper was the stuff. And then maybe they fixed it, or maybe everyone got a little bit scared and decided we didn't want to try the new newspaper, and he's sort of like, what do you call it, ancested into that way of thinking. But basically, no. The ink they use for Japanese newspapers is really good, and it doesn't transfer. Newspaper over in the US would definitely transfer. Okay, that's something I should say. Buy the cheapest newsprint drawing pads for my damp packs. Same material, knowing. Interesting. Newsprint drawing pads. That's cool. Hadn't thought about that. You can just buy newspaper without the ink on it. Yeah, well, the thing in Japan is that the newspapers have to print lots of detail. Kanji are small and delicate. So the ink they use is obviously quite a high quality ink, and it doesn't cause any issues. One last little bit. Do as I say, not as I do. You don't really want to be carving like this towards your hand like this. I'm in supreme control of this knife, don't worry. Bits on the edge like that are always a little bit tricky because the block wants to move and you've got nowhere to rest your hand. That's why when you're doing smaller prints, you get what's called a hasamita, which is like the same thickness as a block and it squeezes it in. I think I showed one before. I want to buy I'll probably end up making my own. The one, Asuka Sensei has some for sale that are made out of really nice cherry, but they're like 60,000 yen, which is the same amount as the wood for my studio I built here. So I've noticed that fresh newspaper ink will rub off more. If I use newspaper from a few months ago, it's more stable. Oh, that's interesting. This current tune reminds me of The Shining. Okay, it's 11. We have come to the end of the carving. I'll do a little bit more deepening and widening of this bit here. It doesn't look it's not very sexy, but we'll go through to the ply. And I guess this block set will be done today or tomorrow. There's not actually that much work. It's a little bit of ice ski work here, a little bit of clearing, a little bit of chiseling, and then we are done. And if you weren't here at the start or are new here, this is the image we're working with. Interesting. Thank you so much for being here with me today. A bunch of new follows. Arigatou gozaimasu. I'm not gonna call you all out, but we should get an on-screen emote for people who sub. I will fix that at some point, hopefully in January, and I need to do a few more updates on beautifying the stream a little bit. And top of that list is getting a new camera so we can create some definition in the work and on my face. So if anyone sees a really nice what's the brand? Gilde? It's French, isn't it? Gielde. Got it. Stunning. Should we do a raid? That's the brand. Gielde is the brand of the lamp. If anyone sees a nice antique Gielde that's not an absolute fortune, let me know. I want it. Raid channel. Let's go somewhere new. Someone's doing some clay. Let's go here. I don't know anything about this channel. It's Sarah with Tea. She's doing some pottery stuff, it seems. Let's do this. Let's find some new friends. Have a great day, everyone. Arigato. Post the link again. What link? What link do you want before we go? Okay. Too slow, Fly. Too slow. We'll see you later. Goodbye, everyone. Have a nice day. Please be nice to Sarah with Tea. You are ambassadors for Ginkgo Hanga. Arigatou gozaimasu. Mina. 良いお年を。良いお年をじゃない。明けましておめでとう。That's the wrong. Bye bye. Raid. Peace.